Hello everybody, welcome. So great to see you today. Today I'm on this beautiful hike and I just couldn't miss out on this opportunity. See what's behind me? Ooh, do some of you dare to go into that path of the unknown? Sometimes some of us, we may be afraid of the unknown future, but I encourage you, let us trust and build our faith in God. I like to read this little quote to you, and it says, "Our hope over an unknown future is built on knowing a good God." So in this video, I would just like to talk about having faith. All of our journey of life, faith is so valuable and important because we go through so many ups and downs. Jesus says, in this world, we will all have trials and tribulation, but be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world. I know some of us, we may have the fears of the unknowns, fears of what am I going to do with my life? How am I going to take care of my finances, my retirements? What is going to happen to my children? We may be consumed with so much worries and fears, but let us have the emotional state rather of love and gratitude and joy today. I like to share with you what Tracy Smith says, and she says, "Worry, anger, and guilt hold you down into a fear-based state of energy, but gratitude, joy, and peace, it lifts you up into a loving state of energy. Remember, your thoughts create your feelings, and your feelings create your emotional state." How we think really does seem to have a big impact in our lives. And recently I came across these two special women, and they were sharing with me some of their life stories. One of them, a beautiful neighbor of mine, unfortunately her husband passed away just a few years ago. He would tell me before, "Elise, how do you make God laugh? Tell him your plans." He would share with me he was planning to retire, his wife was, and they were going to plan to travel and do all these things. And suddenly, he had fourth-stage lung cancer, to his great surprise. And he was never a smoker in his life. So it just came out suddenly. The doctors told him he had 6 months to live. But beautifully, he had 5 years to live gloriously, and he showed so much of his love to others, and so much he spread of God's word by his actions and his kindness to others. And what really touched my heart was that he gave the gift of his love. He moved it forward into his wife as he was passing away and shared with her. Even, it was so cute, I was so taken back. He said to his wife, "You still have much more life to live. You should even marry a couple of times more in your life." Who says that? But this is the kind of special, unique individual that he was. And his love just shined forth to so many people who just adored him. And also, I had another person, a dear person I talked with, and she was just so concerned about her retirement and finances, and she didn't have any more family around her, and she was just very much in a fear-based mode of the unknown of the future. Some of us may be afraid to walk in the path of the darkness, something that's a mystery in our life. But again, I encourage you all to trust in God, for he has our back, and just build our faith and confidence in him today. She just shared with me, wow, it's just the value of the human connections with people, the special people that we can come across our life. You never know how the connections, how it can all pan out, and how God can just orchestrate in his timing, his minute timing, to make your path straight. He wants you to continue to walk in the path of righteousness in the unknown, in your future, and just trust in him. And to her great surprise, through connections of people, she was able to live at a place comfortably and financially very well. And it was just, when you hear her story, God provided for her to be taken care of immensely by having this wonderful roommate, this man that was a son of this older lady that she met at her church that she would like to call her mom. And she sadly ended up passing away. But when she told me the whole story, let us just be good and kind to other people, for you just never know how God can be used through you or through others. And again, let us tap into the goodness of humanity and spread more love and God's light to others. And let us just take the chance of the unknown, knowing that we can walk in faith. And some of us, when we have the lack of faith and the lack of trust in our life, and we want to control all areas. But again, that just leads us down to fears and worries, and is detrimental again to our emotional state. But I'd like to share with you this Bible verse, and what it says in Isaiah 46:4. It says, I will be your God throughout your lifetime until your hair is white of age. Do some of you have some white hairs now? I made you and I will care for you, God promises. And I will carry you along to save you. So God promises that He will walk alongside of us until we have the gray hairs and the wrinkles all the days of our lives. Let us just be like planted on the water streams, the trees, and bear its fruit naturally. Let nature take its course and allow God's Spirit and His fruit to reign in your hearts today. And just trust in Him. Trust in Him in all areas of your life. I dare you to. I challenge you to. Because we all know, looking back in our past events, that God's ways are much more better than our ways. His thoughts are much more bigger and grander than our little finite, minute thoughts. So let us be planted on the streams of water and bear the fruits. And let us prosper in God's blessings as we continue to trust in Him. And I'd like to leave you with this quote, another quote that I saw. And it said, at the end of life, what really matters is not what we bought, but what we built. Not what we got, but what we shared. Not our competence, but our character. And not our success, but our significance. Live a life that matters. Live a life of love. Love conquers all. Let us do everything in love. And it says in 1 Corinthians 13 that faith, hope, and love remains, but what is the greatest is love. God bless you today. Let us walk in the spirit of God's love and trust in Him in the unknown future, and dare to walk on the path of your God-given life in your journey along with God's Spirit. For God says, I promise to never leave you or forsake you. Trust me, I have your back. God says He provides for the lilies of the flower and the birds in the air, and you are worth much more than that. You that God created as a human, as His child. He loves us so much, He will continually provide for us all that we need. Maybe not in our time, but I love Ecclesiastes. It says, God makes everything beautiful in His time. Let us glorify God and honor God in all that we do, and for sure, we will be guaranteed to live a blessed life with all joy. God bless you today, and I hope something that I said may encourage your heart, and let us be a blessing of love and give it to others. Just like my neighbor's husband, he gave his gift of love to his dear loving wife in numerous ways. And like this other dear lady, she was so worried and concerned for her unknown future, but God had her back, and He carried her and provided and helped her along her ways today. God bless you, and I'll see you next week. Love you until we meet again. Goodbye.